Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are in the news corner, or the critique corner. Um, a lot of people really like my conspiracy corner videos, and I'm not quite sure why, but thank you for watching those. I'm very happy that that humor is not lost on people these days. I might make more of them, we'll see. I need more evidence for certain topics, so until I get that evidence, I won't be making any more of those. But when I do get evidence, you will be the first to know what is happening in the conspiracy corner. But we're not in the conspiracy corner today. We are in the critique corner, and it's a brief update on the whole backwards compatibility thing. You might have known that I made a video about it like a week or two ago. I think it was a week ago, about backwards compatibility, why it's confusing going into the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series consoles, and why I don't think Sony's doing a great job of communicating with it, where I think Microsoft is doing a better job of communicating. With all that said, we got a few updates. I think last week, I don't know, time is flying past. We got an update on October 9th from Sony regarding backwards compatibility and specifically what is going on with Sony's backwards compatibility. Now, earlier in the year during Mark Cerny's Tech Talk, they had stated that they are aiming to get as many PS4 titles to be playable on the PS5 as possible. They hadn't really said a set number, they hadn't really thrown out like a guarantee or certainty that, all PS4 titles would be playable on PS5, but on October 9th, Sony did release a blog post stating what backwards compatibility would entail and what games would be supported and wouldn't be supported, etc., etc. And Sony's support page specifically said that there would be 10 games that would not work on PS5. Uh, they weren't really notable games, quite frankly. To me, the only two that stood out were like Shadowin and Hitman Go. Shadowin, for those of you who don't know, they are developed by the same people who made the Trine series. So if you like Trine, you might like that game. I don't know. I never played it. It got mixed reviews. But anyways, that won't be making it on PS5, and same with Hitman Go, as well as 8 other games. And a bonus thing, Silent Hill PT also won't be making it on PS5, so if you still happen to have that on your PS4, that is the only place where you'll be able to play it, so consider yourself very lucky. But of course, those are the 10 games that will not be playable on PS4, or PS5, excuse me. The rest will be playable on PS5 to some degree. And once this announcement hit, various game companies and developers started coming out and tweeting, "Hey, our games will be compatible on the PS5," which, I mean, not a big surprise, right? If your first-party exclusives that were like the heavy hitters on the PS4 just weren't compatible with the PS5, that'd be a little weird. But anyways, first-party titles tweeted out whether or not they'd be compatible, and it was sort of like an advertisement for the blog post to get more people to read about the blog post. But I do want to cover some certain tweets, starting off with Sony Santa Monica. So Sony Santa Monica came out and said that God of War 2018, as well as God of War 3 Remastered, would be playable on day one on the PS5 via backwards compatibility mode. Awesome. I'm particularly excited to see God of War 2018 make it on there because, as some of you may know, God of War 2018 does have an unlocked frame rate option on the PS4 Pro, but it doesn't hit 60. It kind of hovers around the mid 40s, so seeing that hit a locked 60 FPS on PS5 would be pretty cool. And as a sort of aside to that, the PS4 to 5 blog post that PlayStation posted did mention a sort of game boost mode. The term is game boost, where they said that some certain games would be able to take advantage of that game boost mode to achieve higher frame rates. I hope God of War 2018 will be one of those, because it did run, or did have the option to run with an unlocked frame rate on PS4 Pro. So that was Sony Santa Monica. They also followed this up by saying that also compatible will be our entire PS4 catalog of titles from our development partners, including Journey, The Order 1886, Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, and much more. That's cool. More games the better, right? I'm not particularly psyched about The Order, even though I did platinum it. But yeah, it's cool. Journey is a good game. I'm glad to see it playable on PS5. So that'll be nice. It, again, remains to be seen if there will be any benefits to these games. I really doubt the Order will get any benefits, and it desperately needs some. But, of course, with that aside, uh, that's cool. It's cool to see Sony of Santa Monica tweet that out. Naughty Dog followed up with this. Naughty Dog came out and said, hey, we're excited to share that all of our PS4 games will be backwards compatible on PS5. And I didn't actually think about this, but once I saw the tweet, I didn't realize, I realized, wow, Naughty Dog's released a lot of games for PS4. For those of you who don't remember, right, The Last of Us Remastered came out shortly after the PS4's launch. Uncharted 4 came out on PS4. Uncharted 1 through 3 Remastered came out on PS4. Not Last of Us Part 2 came out on PS4. Uncharted Lost Legacy came out on PS4. And then the entire Jack and Daxter catalog actually got a formal release on PS4. So that's actually a lot of titles under Naughty Dog's belt for the PS4 library. And of course, as expected, those games will be carried over to PS5, no problem. Again, it remains to be seen whether there will be any boost mode. I would like to personally see Uncharted 4 run at 60 FPS on PS5, but there's nothing in that venue announced just yet, so it remains to be seen when press and media get their hands on the PS5. Moving on to Sucker Punch. So Sucker Punch, again, like the other companies, they came out. They were a little more forthcoming with information regarding performance. As you may know or may not know about Sucker Punch, they've actually been pretty good at hitting like a 60 FPS frame target for their games. Sly ran at 60. Infamous 1 and 2 attempted to hit 60, but oftentimes reverted to a lock 30, though Infamous 1 kinda sometimes didn't hit it, that lock 30 in intense scenarios. But regardless, they have been always trying to hit at least with an unlocked frame rate. And the same was with Infamous Second Son and Infamous First Light. On PS4, they had an unlocked frame rate, and then on PS4 Pro, they got close to 60, but it wasn't necessarily locked 60, though it was a much better experience. So I can only imagine that Infamous First Light and Infamous Second Son will hopefully take advantage of that game boost mode to hit a locked 60, but it remains to be seen. What Sucker Punch did say about their game boost mode, and I assume this is specifically related to Ghost of Tsushima. It says PS5 owners playing with Game Boost will see an extra option to allow frame rates up to 60 FPS, and while loading speeds on the PS4 are already great, just wait until you see them on the PS5. I imagine they're talking about Ghost of Tsushima here, considering that is their latest release. They just released update 1.1 for it, which is quite frankly a solid update for that game. So it's cool. I'm glad to see Ghost of Tsushima at least get an unlocked frame rate, if not a locked 60 FPS mode for PlayStation 5. So that's really promising. People who were surprisingly quiet about this backwards compatibility announcement were Guerrilla Games. As you know, they made Killzone as well as Horizon Zero Dawn. They didn't really mention this blog post, which is interesting. So I don't know. For those of you who don't know, they are coming out with Horizon Forbidden West sometime in 2021 on both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. But again, we have no idea how the games will run, and we have no idea how Horizon Zero Dawn will run. But of course, it'll run on the PS5. As for whether or not it'll get any benefits, it remains to be seen, as you'll hear throughout this video if you haven't gotten tired of it already. Media Molecule, the guys who made Little Big Planet and Dreams, as well as Sackboy's Big Adventure, coming out for the PS5. They didn't really mention anything about backwards compatibility. Of course, Dreams will carry over, but it remains to be seen. Pixelopolis, the developers behind Concrete Genie, a bit of an underdog, didn't say anything. And Bend Studios, Sony Bend, the developers behind Days Gone, didn't mention anything as well. One developer I haven't mentioned yet, but I will mention now, is Insomnia Games. And they gave us 3 emojis. I just want to know how Spider-Man PS4 will run without the remastered version, Insomnia. Look, I mean, I get it, right? Obviously the games will run on PS5, but we have no idea how performance will be. And we have no idea if, Ratchet and Clank 2016, if that'll get a 60 FPS mode on PS5, because traditionally the Ratchet and Clank games have been 60 FPS titles. There are certainly exceptions to that rule, but Ratchet and Clank 2016 was one of those games where they embraced 30 FPS quite heavily. So I don't know if that'll get any game boost options. It'll be cool if it did, though. I guess if you ask any Ratchet and Clank fan, they probably don't want to remember that game. I wouldn't know. So that's the update on backwards compatibility on Sony's front. It's good that they spoke out. That was my main complaint in my previous video, so it's good to see some news coming from them regarding this. I do want to quickly talk about Xbox backwards compatibility. So, not too long after this announcement. So, Sony's announcement was on October 9th, and then on October 13th, Xbox came out with their own announcement talking more about how involved their backwards compatibility will be. And this is pretty awesome to me, right? I praised Microsoft in my previous video, and I'll come out with and praising them here too, because they are doing some really awesome stuff that just seem like an engineering marvel at times. So they're touting, at least in their official news post here, that their entire catalog from the original Xbox, the Xbox 360, the Xbox One, almost all of these titles, I think they're brave enough to say all of these titles, but I'm going to go with almost all, just to save my butt. They're claiming that all of these games will get auto HDR. They will be able to take of the Xbox Velocity architecture, which basically means faster loading times, and they're even touting double the frame rate performance. Again, it remains to be seen in the hands of press and consumers how true these claims are. But if they are true, and we've seen pretty good evidence to show that some of these claims are happening for some games, that's pretty awesome. That is really cool to see. The fact that they're able to take a game that's probably 15, 20 years old, not 20 years old, 15, 10, 15 years old, and like implement these features at no cost to the customer is pretty neat. That makes me really happy to see. And I'm really happy that Xbox is pushing the envelope for backwards compatibility in this way. Full disclosure, right? I have an Xbox, but I bought it solely for Sunset Overdrive. But then Sunset Overdrive came to the PC like a few months later, so I probably shouldn't have gotten an Xbox anyways. So I really don't care about Xbox's lineup, but the fact that they're pushing backwards compatibility to be this far is just really awesome to see. I'm really happy to see them making these moves. They didn't have to make these moves, but the fact that they are is just really awesome, and it's really cool, and I really hope it pushes Sony to do something similar. But anyways, that's been the updates on backwards compatibility. I'm happy that both companies are, pushing the envelopes with backwards compatibility. I'm happy they're talking more about it. It's like a month till the consoles physically launch, so it's good to see this news coming out. But yeah, I do want to end this video though on a bit of a serious topic. It's not too serious. It's video games. But I want to quickly talk about a shill, because as the consoles come out, as they're approaching, Twitter quite frankly sucks when it comes to consoles, because you have 280 characters to make the snarkiest comment you can, because you ain't following up on that tweet, because it's not going to hit as well if you do two tweets rather than one. My point is, right, is that I've seen this term shill being thrown around. It's been around for a while. If you follow tech YouTubers like graphics cards or CPUs, you'll know that people tend to throw out this shill term when a tech reviewer says something that doesn't agree with what they're thinking. And I find that really unfortunate. So, you know what? Let's actually look up what a shill is. So if I Google the word shill, its definition is an accomplice of a hawker, gambler, or swindler who acts as an enthusiastic customer to entice or encourage others. So basically what they're saying is, what this shill definition is saying, oh, you're paid to say something positive about this. And the fact that people use it so brazenly to criticize journalists and tech media who have a different opinion of them is honestly just kind of sucks. It's really stupid. I'll say that. And I get it. Like, you do definitely want to keep your favorite reviewers' integrity in check. You want to hold them accountable, right? But the tech reviewers themselves want to hold themselves accountable too. They have very little to gain from quote unquote shilling for a product, like actually shilling for a product. For one thing, right, they have to disclose if someone is paying them or sponsoring them for a video or a journal piece. It's the law. It's literally, according to the FCC, you have to disclose that to your audience and to the reader or to the viewer, right? So they have very little to gain by hiding the fact that they're being paid for it. But they have a ton to lose. They have their whole integrity to lose. They say something that isn't true and they know it isn't true, you're not going to trust them. And for them, their integrity is what holds them up. So I understand keeping your favorite media outlets accountable, right? And I'm talking video games, I'm not going to go into anything else here, but the fact that people throw around the term shill just really, it bothers me because people are allowed to have opinions. People are allowed to like things. People are allowed to dislike things. And they don't have to have the same opinion that you do. I know a lot of people, like, when they say, oh, Xbox backwards compatibility, it's cool, then people will retort, oh, but they don't have any first party titles. Sony has first party titles. I'll wholeheartedly admit, Sony has amazing first party titles, right? But I think the fact that people are so tied to a corporation for some reason and then call other people out as, oh, being paid to promote something when they're just really genuinely happy about something, it bothers me. I don't know. I don't know what I was trying to get with this discussion here. I guess the point of that little tangent was, no matter like what console you enjoy, no matter what features you enjoy, right? As long as you're having fun, I think that's all that matters. That's my updates on everything in backwards compatibility realm. If you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to hit that like button if you're new here and want to see really random content, because I don't know what I'm doing with my channel. Feel free to subscribe and join the roller coaster ride. And that's been really about it. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments down below. As always, feel free to tweet at me at Trev64. I read them. Until then, I'll see you in the next video.